because it's a very interesting story. It's a manifestation of how one reacts when being presented to the fitan. And we can give any other practical example from your own life. You have your own experience when you were presented with a fitna and you turned away from it. For the sake of Allah, how you felt your iman was strong, and how you were able to overcome it afterwards. Whereas when you fell for it the first time, you almost become like a prisoner to it. You cannot let go. It handcuffs you. So you know this from your personal experience. I will not be able to give you the long story. It's a very long story, and I don't want anyone to, be bored. Let's go to the bottom line of this. Akhi, you may be saying in yourself, okay, I think I'm afflicted with this disease. Yeah, I think I have the symptoms. And now you've depressed me, ultimately. I don't know if I'm going to sleep tonight. And this is one of my objectives, by the way, so that we will make the necessary change. But will I leave you without a treatment? No. Inshallah, as the scholars provided you with the treatment, then I will simply share it with you. First and foremost, for one to soften the heart, one must understand the ayah in the Quran. الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَتَطْمَئِنُّ قُلُوبُهُمْ بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبُ. Those who believe, and through the remembrance of Allah, their hearts reach tranquility. Is it not by the remembrance of Allah that the hearts reach tranquility? A rhetorical question. Indeed it is. Through the remembrance of Allah. First, dua. Dua. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ فَلْيَسْتَجِيبُوا لِي وَلْيُؤْمِنُوا بِي لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْشُدُونَ. And if my slaves ask you concerning me, then tell them, it doesn't even say that tell them, it is understood from the context, then I am near. I was near in Allah's knowledge, not that Allah Azza wa Jal is with us here, as many Muslims believe that Allah is everywhere. Not that. Allah is near while He is above His creation in a manner which befits His majesty. Then I am near. I respond to the supplication of the one who calls upon me. So let them respond to me and believe in me, so they may be rightly guided. Look how gentle this reminder is from Allah. Allah is calling us. If you ask the Prophet ﷺ about Allah, then Allah is near. He will answer you if you supplicate. So you should ask Allah in your dua to grant you a soft heart. Don't deprive yourself. Don't be miserly and stingy over asking Allah to give you a soft heart. We ask for a lot of dunya matters, for a bigger, better job, higher salary, but we should really give some time for this poor heart that we have oppressed in our bodies. Ask Allah to give you a sound heart, a healthy heart that understands the truth and puts it into practice. The dua, first and foremost. Second, remember death. Remember death. The Prophet ﷺ told his companions in the beginning, I had prevented you from visiting the graves, but now I am commanding you to visit the graves. Verily in it you will find a reminder. In one narration in Hakim he said, by such visits you will soften your heart, and it will bring tears to the eyes, and it will serve as a reminder of the hereafter. Go into the graveyard when you see the dead people that have preceded you, or the dead people that are dying around you, or you simply think about death. And the righteous predecessors used to be very mindful of death. Every salah for them, they will believe is the last salah of their lives. They did not, because no one knows when death will come around. So remember death. This is means of your heart softening bi'idhnillahi azza wa jal. Thirdly, the Quran. Allahu nazzala ahsan al-hadid كتابا متشابها مثانية تقشعر منه جلود الذين يخشون ربهم ثم تلين جلودهم وقلوبهم إلى ذكر الله ذلك هدى الله يهدي به من يشاء ومن يضلل الله فما له من هاد. Allah has sent down the best book, the best speech, the Quran. Its parts resembling one another in goodness and truth. The skins of those who fear their Lord shiver when they hear it or when they recite it from the fear of Allah. It shivers from the fear of Allah, from khashya. Then their skin and their heart soften to the reminder of Allah Azza wa Jal. It's softened to the reminder of Allah Azza wa Jal. Verily, this is the guidance of Allah. He guides to it whomever He wills. And whosoever Allah guides, then none will be able to guide. The best speech is the Quran. The skins of those who fear their Lord, it shivers from the Quran. Again, so we should learn what the Quran means. So when you stand in Ramadan and Taraweeh, you will not be wishing that the Imam will expedite the Taraweeh. You will not be looking for the one who prays the shortest number of verses in the Rak'ah. Because you yourself don't want to be in the masjid. But it is a custom that you have been brought up upon. You have been accustomed to, that you should pray Taraweeh like everybody else prays Taraweeh. So you go there tired, lazy, and not really in the mood for the Salah. And you know that many of us have this particular feeling. Because, akhi and ukhti, we don't understand what the Imam is saying. That's why the scholars say it is allowed to seek an Imam who recites in a way that is effective, that affects the heart. Because you need to interact with the Quran. Lastly, righteous deeds. Doing good, avoiding evil. Something that Allah has given all of us the ability to do. It is something that is within your reach. It doesn't require travel. It doesn't require spending money. It doesn't require excessive work. It is something within your reach. And this time that Allah gave you, these 24 hours a day, do what Allah wants of you to do. And stay away from what Allah wants you to stay away from. And this is the best way for you to be rightly guided. This is the istiqamah. When Ubadah ibn Samit, was it or Sufyan, asked the Prophet ﷺ to give him an advice. Give me an advice. He said, قُلْ آمَنْتُ بِاللَّهِ ثُمَّ اسْتَقِمْ. Say, I believe in Allah, in the names and attributes of Allah, the way that you're supposed to believe. Then remain upright. Then stay on a straight course. Then don't go off. Ibn Abbas said concerning the ayah which was revealed in Surah Hud, فَاسْتَقِمْ كَمَا أُمِرْتَ. So, Allah commanded the Prophet ﷺ to remain upright as he was commanded. He said this is the most difficult verse upon the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in the whole Quran. When Allah told him to remain upright. After you've been guided, don't go off. So when you do something, don't stop doing it. And when you learn something, put it into practice. Lastly, brothers and sisters in Islam, I conclude with these ayat from the book of Allah. Allah says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أطيعوا الله ورسوله ولا تولوا عنه وأنتم تسمعون ولا تكونوا كالذين قالوا سمعنا وهم لا يسمعون إن شر الدواب عند الله الصم البكم الذين لا يعقلون ولو علم الله فيهم خيرا لأسمعهم ولو أسمعهم لتولوا وهم معرضون يا أيها الذين آمنوا استجيبوا لله وللرسول إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم واعلموا أن الله يحول بين المرء وقلبه وأنه إليه تحشرون. Allah says, this is the last thing that can be said. O you who believe, obey Allah and His Messenger and do not turn away from them whilst you hear. And do not be like those who say that we hear, but they really hear not. They hear the words, but it doesn't reach the heart. What did Allah say concerning them? Verily, the most evil of the creation in the sight of Allah are as-summ al-bukmu alladhina la ya'qilun. Those who are deaf